San Diego Comic-Con just ended this weekend, and naturally, it was a grand time full of positivity, nerdy excitement, and decent actors who would never do something as exceedingly tacky as laughing at the idea of a gay couple on their show. Hello everyone! Welcome to Plaid and Prejudice, a series that gives me an excuse to buy more clothes and you a chance to explore unreasonable bias. On the last day of San Diego Comic-Con, the main cast of the CW show Supergirl sat down for a very casual interview with MTV. They kicked it off by doing a fun, sarcastic, musical recap of the season, which sounds like good wholesome fun. And then literally the very first thing that comes out of Jeremy Jordan's mouth is how Lena, Luthor, and Kara are best friends and only friends and they're not gonna get together, ever.
They're only friends! They're only friends! They're not gonna get together!
And this was followed by a lot of obnoxious laughter about the whole idea. The lovely Katie McGrath, who plays Lena Luthor, made a point of saying later on that while she didn't personally see the ship, that art is for everyone to consume and interpret however they want. A nice sentiment that was then interrupted by her castmates laughing sarcastically about how your sexuality is totally based on how other people perceive you. Just as an aside, yeah, it's not cool to just assume someone's sexuality because of how you perceive them, but these are fictional characters. Interpretation is kind of necessary? I have seen the entire interview, and obviously you're only going to be able to truly form your own opinion by watching it in its full context and judging it for yourself. But if you're wondering how I feel, spoiler alert, I am very, very pissed off. I will never understand how actors, writers, and directors can find it in them to mock their fans. And don't get me wrong, there are things in behavior in fandom that are harmful and should be called out by those with the power to actually make a positive change. For me, these sort of things include the people in the Steven Universe fandom who bullied someone into the hospital over fan art, or people who ship Kilgrave and Jessica because there's just something they don't like about Luke. It's because he's black. Those are things that not only make a fandom not fun to be in, but also actively harm people. But you know what doesn't fall into that category? Shipping Kara Danvers and Lena Luthor, aka Supercorp. They have a very lovely and strong friendship, and Melissa Benoist and Katie McGrath have good chemistry. Fans gonna ship? I mean, come on. This is a basic thing. It's not only polite, it's just common sense. You don't make fun of the people who make sure you're still employed? I mean, am I wrong about that? This may come as a surprise, but mocking the people who watch your show is a really great way to get people to stop watching your show. And that behavior is bad enough, but what makes this situation about 100 times worse is that they made fun of a harmless queer ship. And no, just because there's a lesbian relationship in the show doesn't mean that what they did wasn't still homophobic. You're not incapable of it just because your show has one queer story. Despite the fact that the reputation of queer ships in fandom is one of straight girls fetishizing two cis dudes, there are queer people in fandom. What? I know. And a lot of Supercorp shippers are queer, and they like the ship because they enjoy seeing themselves reflected in a show they like. Yes, of course you can enjoy Danvers, the lesbian couple in the second season of Supergirl, and you don't even have to be a lesbian to enjoy it. But maybe there's something about Supercorp that you really identify with, or you could just think they'd be cute together. Just because we already have a lesbian relationship on the show doesn't mean that it satisfies all queer experiences, or even all lesbian experiences. And it doesn't mean that we aren't allowed to dream of more. I know it sounds wild, but you don't actually have to limit the number of queer people in your show. Whoa! Oh my god. Look, I get it. The interview was a casual, silly kind of thing. It was a joke. To you, straight people. And here's the thing, it's not that what they said was actually bad. The words alone are rather banal. It's how they said it, it's the context. It's how they laughed so heartily at the idea of it. It's how that was the only ship that got picked on and ridiculed for no real good reason. It's how they smiled and sarcastically said that it was so brave of them to destroy this ship.
I just debunked Supercorp.
That's pretty brave.
First of all, straight people have made fun of queer people since the beginning of cinema. I wouldn't call it brave. It's one of the most boring and uncreative things you can do with the medium. Second, you didn't destroy Supercorp. People who ship Lena and Kara know that they're never going to get together. Kara's a pretty white girl on a CW show. We know that the writers are just gonna have her keep on kissing boring white dudes. That's not why people are upset. People aren't upset because you ruined their ship. People are upset because the actors from a show they love, people they admire, laughed at something that they see themselves in. Straight people, you have to understand, we're always laughed at. Our bodies, culture, relationships are just weird niche things for you. But they're not for us. And our sexuality doesn't make us any funnier or more ridiculous than straight people. And yet, we're so often comic relief, over-the-top gay best friends, sissy cowards, villainous buffoons. Don't worry, buddy, I have not forgotten about you. You're getting your own damn video. Not every queer person is going to react to the interview the way I did, but a lot of people did. And I just want to say that if you're straight, it's not really your place to tell queer people that they shouldn't be offended, that the cast was just joking. Because we know that. We're just really sick of being the punchline. I'm an adult. I'm pretty secure in my sexuality and relationships, but I didn't arrive at that place quickly or easily. It took me probably about a decade. And part of the reason it took me so long was because when I was a kid and I started to talk about even the idea that I might be attracted to women, the people around me laughed. They dismissed it. They didn't threaten me, they didn't bully me, they didn't call me any names. They just laughed. And that was enough to make me think that I didn't actually know myself and that I was wrong. So no, this thing the Supergirl cast did, it doesn't hurt adult Sarah, but it does hurt kid Sarah. And other kids like her. And maybe you should keep them in mind the next time you think of making a joke at our expense. Thank you guys for watching. Let me tell you, my original script had about 3 times the amount of expletives. I'm interested to know in the comments your thoughts on this. Will you still be watching Supergirl? And if you enjoyed this video, you should go ahead and subscribe to The Princess and the Scrivener for more videos on Disney, intersectional feminism, pop culture critiques, and more. The Princess and I will see you next week. After pining for a black man all of season 1 and then losing interest in him about an hour into season 2, yeah, I'm not salty about that at all. It was fantastic in character writing. Very good pacing.